I think Canelo knocks him out.
What round do you think?
I don't know what round.
Berlanga has power. We know
Berlanga
that.
has power, and Berlanga has game too. He's, I'm not trying to say he's not good or he doesn't deserve it.
One of the most anticipated clashes between Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez is just around the corner, and the boxing community has shared their thoughts on the clash. Eddie Hearn is full of confidence as Edgar Berlanga gears up for his world title clash with Canelo Alvarez. Berlanga, who's set to put his unbeaten record on the line next month, is moving up a weight class, but Hearn firmly believes that he'll give Canelo a real run for his money. The expectation is that Berlanga will rise to the occasion and deliver a performance that could shake things up in the division. Edgar respects him. He knows how great Canelo is, but he believes he's going to win and he's an underdog, said Hearn when speaking to the Stomping Ground. I'll tell you what, he'll have a right go, and it's a dangerous fight for Canelo Alvarez, and I'm looking forward to it. Eddie Hearn praised Canelo Alvarez for agreeing to face Edgar Berlanga, highlighting Berlanga's aggressive, knockout-seeking style. Hearn compared Berlanga's power to Canelo's and emphasized the excitement of the Puerto Rico versus Mexico rivalry, noting how significant and thrilling the fight will be for boxing fans. Yes, it is Puerto Rico against Mexico, but it's deeper than that. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for Edgar and his father. He dedicated his life to the sport, and I promise you, he will give every inch of his soul in Las Vegas. Remember one thing, this guy is here to fight. This guy is here to dethrone the king. Terence Crawford already shared his verdict on the upcoming clash between Edgar Berlanga and Canelo Alvarez. He said that Canelo will win as he thinks Canelo is more experienced. He also praised Berlanga and said that he can do better in the future, but right now Canelo is too much for him. I think Alvarez stops Berlanga, Crawford offered during a recent interview with the Stomping Ground. I think Berlanga is head over heels with this fight, he continued. I think Berlanga can be a great champion someday. I just think right now, Canelo is just too much for him. Leonard Alerby is confident that Canelo Alvarez will get his hands raised on Edgar Berlanga in the 5th or 6th round of the fight. He expects Canelo to end it with a body shot.
What's your breakdown of that fight? How you see this fight going?
6 to 8 rounds, I think that, in my opinion, I think that Canelo stops him. I think it's going to be a body shot, too.
Promoter Steven Espinoza is confident that Edgar Berlanga will pose a significant challenge for Canelo Alvarez in their upcoming bout. Espinoza believes both fighters are fiercely determined to win. In an interview with Boxing Scene, he stated, "Both fighters showed a bit of spark, some fire, some emotion, and you clearly got the sense that Berlanga is not a guy who is there just to show up, that he's motivated, that he's not intimidated, and all of that really helps because when you've got a guy as experienced and as accomplished as Canelo, one of your big challenges is convincing people that his fights will be competitive." Teddy Atlas shared his candid thoughts on the fight, saying he wasn't surprised when it was announced. He acknowledged that Berlanga is a young, talented fighter with an unbeaten record, but also pointed out that Berlanga lacks experience at this elite level.
Don't have. And listen, it's not a knock. I'm here not to make friends. I'm here to state things that I believe are based to the truth in this business or attached to the truth. He's the guy who can handpick who he wants to fight. In Berlanga, I wasn't surprised. No, I'll be honest. I wasn't surprised at all. I figured he was the front runner. He's got an undefeated record. He's coming off a good win. You know, he's a young, talented fighter. But he's an inexperienced fighter at this level.
Gary Jonas, who previously managed Berlanga and now serves as a supporter to the fighter while he trains at Jonas's ProBox boxing facility in Plant City, Florida. Jonas shared his thoughts about Berlanga being in the ring with Alvarez. He stated, "Berlanga will be a live dog. He won't run. He's going to go for it. If he goes down, he'll go down fighting and put on a show. Diego Pacheco will be watching closely when Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga face off next month." Diego Pacheco mentioned this while speaking on Matchroom's Flash Knockdown podcast. "I think Canelo will stop him. I think Berlanga will maybe do better the first 3 rounds. I feel like once Canelo has found his rhythm and has found Berlanga's timing, he'll get him out of there." Promoter Oscar De La Hoya continued his criticism of Edgar Berlanga, particularly targeting Berlanga's claims of Puerto Rican heritage. De La Hoya pointed out that Berlanga was visibly upset by his remarks and even challenged him to produce a birth certificate to verify his heritage.
"Edgar Berlanga, I called you out for not being Puerto Rican. I simply spoke the facts. So you got embarrassed and posted a 14-year-old photo of me that the world has already seen and memed 1,000,000 times. Bro, why didn't you just post your birth certificate from Puerto Rico? Unless you don't have one. Don't tell me you're another lame who is offended by the truth. Come on, bro."
Perhaps he wanted to save the best for the last. Calling out Canelo Alvarez, he said, "As always, the most important topic of every week, Canelo Tim Bradley says Canelo Alvarez will make an example out of Edgar Berlanga by giving him a beating on September 14th. Canelo is looking for fish that was already fried. I like Berlanga. Congratulations, Berlanga. You hit the lotto. It's a fight that you can't resist, said Tim Bradley to the Title Sports Network YouTube channel. From the skills point of where he's at in his career right now, I just think Canelo is going to be too much for him. He's going to get paid to get his backside whooped. He further added, he's not going to show no kind of mercy in the right, so Berlanga better be ready. He's getting paid for a backside whoopin'. Angel Garcia said he can't predict the future, but he believes Edgar Berlanga has a chance to prove himself. He mentioned that Berlanga should stay focused on the fight and be ready for what comes next, instead of worrying about people criticizing or talking trash about him.
I can say he's going to lose. I can't predict the future. But he has a great chance like anybody else does. So you got to give him credit for that. So Berlanga want to be that rock star. He got to be on his A game. His game got to be 100. You can't focus on. You can't focus on what they say, she say, and none of that. That don't matter. They talked about Jesus and crucified him and spit on him, and he still forget all of us. So they're always going to talk about you. The thing you got to be focused here. If he's focused here, he has a great chance.
In a chat with Two-Toned superstar, David Benavidez, with a record of 29-0, offered a blunt critique of the Alvarez vs. Berlanga fight. He dismissed it as an useless fight and took a swipe at the Mexican champion, adding, "Fight, nobody wants to see that. But at the end of the day, Canelo doesn't face the strongest opposition." In the same conversation, Benavidez shed light on being mandatory for Alvarez, which the WBC never enforced against the super middleweight champion. Speaking with a tone of discontent, the orthodox boxer said, "I have been his mandatory for the last 3 years. I can't force a man to fight me. It shouldn't even come to a position where you have to activate your mandatory. What's the interim title for? That's basically activating your mandatory. At the end of the day, I gotta move forward with my career." Caleb Plant acknowledges that boxing is a world where anything can happen. He expressed doubt about Edgar Berlanga's chances against Canelo Alvarez, but remains open to the possibility of an unexpected outcome.
You think Edgar can beat Canelo? Or
I mean, I don't see it, but, you know, anything's possible in the sport of boxing. I'm sure we've seen crazier things, so, but no, I don't see it.
Canelo Alvarez has lined up his next appearance in the boxing ring and will defend his undisputed super middleweight titles against Edgar Berlanga on September 14 at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Alvarez is coming off a unanimous decision win over Jaime Munguia in May. It was his 4th straight win after returning to super middleweight following his failed attempt to get past Dimitri Bivol for the WBA light heavyweight title in May 2022. Edgar Berlanga is an undefeated prospect with a 22-0 record and 17 knockouts. He most recently defeated Padraig McCrory by 6th-round TKO in February. Undisputed super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez shared his expectations for the upcoming fight against American boxer Edgar Berlanga. "How's my preparation going? It's going great. I always train at 100%, I feel good, and I'm ready for that night." Berlanga? He's skilled, strong, young, and hungry for victories, but there's nothing new for me. I faced all kinds of fighters. Tough ones, strong ones. I'm just going to step into the ring and do my job. Is he the best puncher? I don't know. I'll be able to answer that after the fight. I know that I'm strong and I want to do everything possible to make him feel some serious pain. I'm focused on that, said Canelo, as quoted by the YouTube channel TMZ Esports. Alvarez further explained that Berlanga should be ready for a different kind of challenge, emphasizing that he is not like the other fighters Berlanga has faced before. He described himself as a different breed.
Like I say to everybody, it's not the same fight with other fighters, like fighting with me. And he's going to find out September 14th.
On the flip side, Berlanga, who is set to challenge the unified super middleweight champion on September 14th, feels he has gotten under Alvarez's skin, especially in LA. The unbeaten fighter believes he's managed to get into Alvarez's head before their fight. "I just know that I sparked something in him for sure," Berlanga recently told the Tobin and Leroy podcast. "He could say he's not going to have compassion for me. He was never going to have compassion for me. I'm Puerto Rican, he's Mexican. I definitely lit a fire in him for sure, but hey, that's what we all want, right?" Berlanga continued. "We want the guy, the best version of himself. So when I do beat him, it's not going to be like, oh, this guy, he took Edgar lightly." He added, "Nah, I made sure he came correct. I touched a couple of buttons in him that I made sure he came on his A game that night." September 14th, we are going to get the best Canelo, and he's going to get the best Edgar Berlanga because I want what he got. So what do you think about the fight? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.